Hi everyone, Lynn Taylor here, Common Core Diva. Just wanted to give you a quick update. I was doing a little bit of research and I wanted everyone to know there are some new federal bills that have just been introduced, and let me give those to you because they are going to be using our taxpayer dollars to throw towards education one more time. And supposedly it's supposed to do a great thing, but we'll see. Okay, introduced on the 16th of July is H.R. 7616. And this is the Transportation, Housing, and Urban Development and Related Agencies Appropriations Act. All right, on page 136 of this particular Appropriation Act, you're going to see $4.6 billion, and $25 million of that will go towards what is called a Choice Neighborhood Initiative. And in those particular neighborhoods, they're going to go and restructure low-income housing neighborhoods to give them to be more sustainable, including schools that will be built in these particular new choice neighborhoods. So you want to watch for that. Introduced on the 15th of July is H.R. 7614. This one is the Labor, Department of Education, Health and Human Services Appropriation Act. Now, school is in there 22 times, and I've got some of the big figures out for you. For ex-offenders, to retrain them to go into the workforce development program, which will involve school, we have $103 million. For Youth Build, which also targets our youth for workforce development through education, $100 million for that. That's on page 8. You can find $25 million for competitive grants to be given to the states for workforce prep, again, all through education. $6 million will go for the Workforce Quality Data Initiative, and we have discussed this many times about how this marries up with the Student Longitudinal Data System to track not only where your child goes to school and where they go to work, but marries the data so that it aligns their education for them. Okay, on page 117, the Department of Health and Human Services can accept private donations for alien children, including early childhood development screening, school supplies, and anything else that goes for their well-being. So that's going to be coming out of our taxpayers as well. All right, on page 122, the Centers for Disease Control eligible dependents, they get their primary and secondary education paid for if it's not already covered by the Department of Defense. On page 126 is where the Department of Education funding begins. For Title I, under Every Student Succeeds Act, $17.3 billion, everyone. $6.5 billion for Section 1124 of the Every Student Succeeds Act. Of that, $5 million will go for census poverty data. Yes, Tara, you're absolutely right. Do stop the Agenda 21. Okay, on page 127, concentration grants under the Every Student Succeeds Act, $1.4 billion. Targeted grants, $4.4 billion. Education finance grants, $4.4 billion. And then you also have, for the Higher Education Act, $46.6 million. Yes, Matthew, absolutely. These were just introduced, gosh, I think earlier this week, or yeah, it was earlier this week. Sorry, my days are a little screwed up right now. On page 128, Impact Aid under Education, $1.5 billion. Financial assistance for FED-affected schools under Title VII of the Every Student Succeeds Act. Now, of this, $1.3 billion will go for basic support of these federally affected schools. $46 million of this goes for special needs students and $17 million for school construction. Now, under school improvement, which will cover not only the Every Student Succeeds Act, but the McKinney-Vento Act, the Education Technical Assistance Act, the Compact Free Association Amendments Act, and the Civil Rights Act of 1964, $3.6 billion, and $38 million of this will go towards construction of public schools or any structure they can possibly relate to public education in the name of modernization, which we know exactly what that means. That's going to be all about uh, the sustainable garbage. Okay, on page 86, let me back up just a little bit. $5.9 billion for child care and community development block grants, which we know that ties into. We know that was an initiative that was never supposed to be codified, and yet it was. Social services block grants, $1.7 billion. On page 87, child and family service programs, which include Head Start, Early Head Start, and the Every Student Succeeds Act, $13 billion. I kid you not. Now, let's go ahead. On page 130 of this, Indian education gets 181 million. Innovation and improvement, 1,074,815. Of that, we have 100 million going towards, get this, social and emotional learning grants. Okay. 85 million of that goes for science, technology, engineering, and math, which we know is part of the United Nations. Okay, under safe schools and citizen education, $218 million. English language arts, $7.97.4 million. Page 132, IDEA funding for our special needs students, $14 billion to cover 3 to 21-year-olds. All right. Page 138, the career and technical education, of course, 1.2 billion. Student aid, $24.6 billion. Page 143, the Higher Education Act, $2.5 billion. Page 144, Historical Black Colleges and Universities, $22 million. On pages 146 and 147, the Institute for Education Sciences, $630 million. And all that this particular arm of the Department of Education will do is data mine. They will take from early childhood education all the way through to workforce and align that data and continue to try to improve the system. Okay, now that's not all. Okay, that was just those two bills. We have some other ones. S4131 was introduced on July the 1st. It has a sister bill, which is HR 7302. It was introduced on June 25th. This one is called, these two are called now get this, the Accessible Affordable Internet Access for All. Has 13 different related bills, ladies and gentlemen. Two of which want to put Wi-Fi on our school buses. Can you ever guess why? Okay. You also need to look at Senate Bill 3701. You can find all these on congress.gov, and you just type in the letter and the number that I've given you, and you can find these and read these yourselves. Now, what is so ironic about this accessible and affordable internet access for all is, of course, education is in there 71 times. And it's going to involve public-private partnerships. So again, we know that's fascism as well. But just here are some of the figures, and this is to give everyone affordable internet access, right? But the taxpayers are going to have to pay for this. Here are some of the figures: 26 million, 60 million, 125 million per year till fiscal year 2025. $625 million. And lastly, to build a National Broadband Connect Fund, $9 billion. It's insane. Where are we going to get this money from? It's coming out of our back pockets, or it's going to be, since it's public-private partnership, it's going to be all those corporations who are helping run the government. Or probably running it all together. But anyway, that is what is on the radar right now. So tell all your friends, we're fixing to really get screwed as far as taxpayer funding. All right, share away. Take care. Talk to you soon.